Hi, I'm Marianne Clyde,
And I'm Lorna McGill.
and we're here with the Isn't She Amazing podcast.
And today we have an exciting guest, Laura Fredricks. She is the author of Hard Asks Made Easy. She's also known as the $1 billion Ask Maker powerhouse. She's an attorney, a best-selling author, an adjunct professor, a speaker, a trainer. Like, what else are you?
A hiker. I hike the Appalachian Mountains.
Hiker and a kayaker.
I'm a kayaker. Now I've done kayak camping, so I add that to my list.
Wow, what a resume. It's pretty impressive.
She's quite diverse.
And Laura, this is your 7th book, right?
It is, yeah.
What is it that caused you to write this one in particular?
Well, first of all, every 3 years I like to write a book. And so this was a long time. The last book was 2018. That lovely thing called COVID hit us, right? And yes, that does like dull your brain cells. But what happened was people were calling me with really hard asks, like, how do I leave my husband? How do I tell my kids it's time to move out? How do I tell my kids we're not getting a dog? How do I tell my boss I'm not coming into work? I mean, it kept coming and coming. So the title came automatically, Hard Ass Made Easy. And I thought, whenever I see a problem, I've got to fix it via writing. And the only way I do that is by putting organization, structure, and focus to an area that looks so chaotic. And that's probably my legal background. Mea culpa on that one. And so I just put it all together. And this book is very different from my other ones. First of all, thank you for holding up the cover. I have never been on the cover of any of my books.
Really?
Never. It's always been the ask and different things as you see over here, never on the cover. So I wanted this to be very different. So I had a wonderful writing coach. And for all the people that listen to your podcast, and there are many, you know, just when you really want something, you've got to surround yourself with the best. And so I had never had a writing coach, and I have a phenomenal woman named Bonnie Hearn-Hill. She's an author herself, but she read my books, and in 2 hours, she was literally in my brain, like finishing my sentences. And she said, listen, this is what we have to do. People have to know you. They have to see you so that they can hear you and follow what you're doing. I said, okay. So it took longer to get the cover than to write the book. It was terrifying, but that's okay. I had a great photographer, but you know how it goes. You know, that morning, your hair never looks good, right? You have to have makeup for 4 hours. The lighting's terrible. Is it going to, I mean, anyway, it's fine. I know your audience would appreciate that. So we did that. But the one thing, you know, and I believe in questions, as you know, that's my life. She said, and this was painful to me, why haven't I heard about you? You've written 6 books. I don't know about you. And I'm like, oh man, this is terrible. So I said, because when I get up, just like you did the intro, they listen to all this and then they drop back and say, but I can't be Laura. She's devoted her life to this. I can't be her. I can take some of it. And so Bonnie said to me, you have to be everyday person and you have to start writing about yourself. I have never been in my books before. Maybe a story here and there, but you two have been gracious enough to read the book, and you know it begins really tough with me and some other examples, and it just got me grounded and moving forward with everyone at the same time. And that's what makes this book so different than the other books.
Well, it's exciting because, you know, first thing I did was once I started was I went to your website and took the quiz.
Good.
And, you know, I took the quiz on your website instead of in the book because I never like to put anything in writing. I didn't want to find myself looking through the book years from now and go, really? I thought that. So, and Lorna took the test too.
Yep, I did.
And the test was to find out what kind of an asker you are.
It's a base level. It really is. And so it's good to know where you're at. And there's some advantages, refinements, and challenges, but then you can apply the stuff in the book. If you don't know where you're at in the beginning, all the stuff you hear, you might be a little selective in what applies to you. But if you know it and you know what you need to refine, all the tips and the laws and the rules I gave you, you would know where to go. So that was the whole fabric of the book.
And where you would normally fall, or where you might make your
The
mistakes.
challenges, the real challenges, and there are some to each. And I knew in 30 years of doing this, there are 4 types, and that's where they are.
Okay, well, I'm the charmer.
And I'm the negotiator.
So-
Because I was a CFO. I mean, I had to like, negotiate all the time.
Right, right.
So,
The
And I'm
interesting,
the therapist, so it fits.
right, there you go. The interesting thing is, people don't kind of know the difference between the presenter and the negotiator because they are similar. They are, but think about, and I frame it this way, think about someone who's a really good politician, a really good speaker, really, they don't always get to asking. They just pontificate, spread it out, bring you in, but at the very end, have they really asked? And so that is a style that I've seen with a lot of people, probably in your positions or more. And it's there. I've worked for a lot of bosses that way. You know, I see it on the media all the time. Like, what is it you want? Or what is it you're selling?
Well, that's the whole point about selling, that people just don't close. They just don't make the ask. It's kind of like, I'm going to present all my information to you, and out of the goodness of your heart, you're going to see that I want to make a salary of $1 million, and you should give that to me, you know, because I'm such a nice person.
And those are the 3 devils: luck, chance, and time. I've seen this more often than people are like, well, I took them and I don't want to stereotype it, but it's there, to golf, and I've gotten tickets, and they came over for a barbecue, and our kids do play dates. And I'm like, and so they let time fill it in that the person is supposed to naturally know what you want.
But it's such a common thing. So the book is so necessary. What I love what you did, I think it was towards the end, actually, it was like 2 sentences.
And a question. That is the ask formula, whether you want another kitten or whether you want, you know, a $20,000 raise. It's the same formula, which makes everybody calm down. And if you notice in the book, I hit every category. It's just not raises and getting ahead. I mean, it's love, truth, spirituality, forgiveness, health. I put everything in there so that you could see, don't compartmentalize. When you need something in those categories, you behave differently.
Well, I think also like the first law was like, it seems like so basic, but know what you want.
With numbers and dates. With numbers and dates.
Right.
That's the difference. It's like everyone says, oh, I want more people to attend my conference. What's more, and when is your conference? I mean, just something so simple, but it's just like, yeah, I need some more people to fill the seats to make it a sold out. What is that? You know?
Yeah, do you need 20 or you need 200?
200, exactly.
And so that was really helpful because, first of all, we don't ask. One big mistake. Another mistake that I don't want our audience to make is that this is really about sales. You know,
No.
you don't have to be in a sales job in order to buy this.
No. And you know, one thing probably in another book I'll explore a little more in depth is what it does to you mentally and physically when you don't ask. Because you retreat, your confidence goes down, your body language tanks, and you feel less of yourself. It's like it's almost like a stamp of you're not worthy because you never put it out. So there's a real chemical thing that happens in you when there's something that you want and you just push it off to another time, or you start filling in the blanks. It's like, oh, Lorna's going to say no. Why even bother? How many times have you heard that? Right? Or, oh, let's just wait. It's the holidays or something. You know, something's going to
There's
fill in.
always reason.
Well, what it does to you is it really puts you back and you start questioning yourself for everything else in your life.
Well, you know, and there's a little Bible verse that sticks in the back of my head too, is you have not because you ask not. I mean, it's such a basic principle. It's just, if you don't ask, the answer is what?
No.
Right. But if you ask, even that gives you a 1% that maybe it'll be yes. You know, it's just, but if it's like, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That's my Wayne Gretzky.
That's right. And if you saw in the book, what I try to bring out is there's studies on this. People want to help you, but they can't mind read. So how many times you see people in your neighborhood lost, we need to go somewhere, forgot something? What do? You say, can I help you? And they're like, oh, I think I'm turned around. I'm supposed to be 2 blocks over there. No, you're actually on the right block. Oh, great. Now, no one asked you to do it. And how good do you feel? So people want to, asking is an opportunity. People can take it or not, but they won't know the opportunity unless you ask for it.
Right.
Right,
And a lot of times, they'll just say I'm lost, but they won't say I need directions, So I guess they apply no matter what you do, that you
It's
have
true.
to have a specific thing you're going to ask. And I love how you wove the stories in and out of that to make it so real and so natural to fit any age and
Mhm.
any situation.
And Mary, thank you for saying that. What has stunned me, or like, so we know why the book came, but what has stunned me, and that's 3 months later, is the age group this is resonating. Now, people can assume, which we hate that word, we know from the book, people like-minded, people like the 3 of us, it's really going to help. Okay, check. I did, and I think I mentioned to you this in preparing for today. I did an Instagram live with a group called Teens Want to Know.
Ah,
International, all of this. Great questions. How do I ask my parents to start a 529 college plan? Can I do that and ask for a car at the same time? Like, how can I get along with my siblings better and not bother my parents? They're more savvy than you think. It's funny. I live in New York City, and half of them got picked to be in Fashion Week. I mean, they're really, think about that. And then also think about influencers. If you have a teen, you have them for what, 50 years on? So this is a powerful group, but they really want to know about the book, which I was stunned. And then I did a book signing in Philadelphia, and it was a private club. A friend sponsored me. I had no idea who was going to come, but you think, come on, let's stereotype private club in a great city. They're going to be people that look like us, right? Everybody was 30 years old and under, with the exception of maybe 10, 12. I was like, so,
assuming you're saying we don't look 30. Is that your point?
No, I didn't say that. I said I saw you in the audience. It's amazing to me. I just and that I'm blessed and grateful that it reaches people of different ages.
Well, it is just so important because also those kids, essentially are young parents or potentially could be parents and stuff, and then they teach their kids what they're learning, and it's just nobody's teaching the kids this stuff. So and the fact that the book is so readable and relatable.
Right.
It's readable and relatable, and it's a relatively quick read because you've written it in a way that it just moves. And so I think it would appeal to any age group, but that's very cool that
it surprised me. I mean, I'm happy, but I was like, well, I never thought that. So that makes me happier. And it's funny, Mary, you mentioned about a quick read. It takes you a long time to write a book, and then it comes and it's like, it's only this big. You should see my living room. I mean, there is just pages and stuff, and I'm sitting there going, it weighs less. Like what? But I wanted it to move and be relatable. Thank you. And people I've always say it's a quick read, but it's one that I can go back to. It's not a textbook. It's not meant for you to digest a chapter and come back. It's just to really, if it's that easy to read, it's that easy to do.
Well,
yeah, and I have lots of, highlighted in mine. I have things underlined.
Do you have sticky notes, Lorna? Where's the sticky
I didn't have
notes?
sticky because I took this with me to Italy. So
You took it to Italy. Wow, I'm honored. Thank you.
there you go.
So yeah, so I've got but I do have different colors. I mean, so I have there was lots of really good tidbits in it, and it's so relatable and just action steps.
Oh,
But it's also it really highlighted that whole confidence.
that's what it is.
Core of it is you don't have the confidence. And I love that one of the tips was when you are going to do the ask, stand up. And
like I'm doing for you now.
Right.
All my interviews, I stand up. My voice is good. My energy is high. When I make phone calls, I stand up. It's the small things that can have transformational results.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I remember I took a women in leadership. I went to a conference, and one of the
Mhm.
things, it was like a training, a coaching training. But one of the things that they said, like before you did go do an ask, was to like do like the Superman pose. So you like had to like lift your arms or do this. So
Right.
when I read that, I thought, well, it kind of goes along with the Superman pose.
It does. It does. And
As I read an article just recently that why the Wonder Woman pose is such a powerful pose to do. So yeah, it just makes a difference because it kind of straight, like, here we are kind of trying to fit in a screen.
you look nice and comfortable.
But it does a lot to your diaphragm, which means you're supported and you can speak
Mhm.
more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or even like I love like videos yours, because I mean like when you start like videoing, like we're like more comfortable. I'm a little more comfortable than I was at first. But when
Yes.
you first start, you're like, good Lord, my voice sounds like that.
Yeah. I
Or-
tell everyone, as you know, everyone has a phone and everyone has the recording thing. Record it. You will never sound like you think you sound. And there's
Right.
things that you can do to watch your tone, because that is very, very important. Especially now. I think people just in general are just a little more on edge, a little angrier. It's easier to vent, but that tone really can turn people off for anything, especially decision makers who can give you something that's very important to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So would you do me a favor and walk through the 5 steps?
I'd love to, but Marianne, tell me one thing you need now or by the end of October, and we're going to walk through the 5 steps.
Oh, one thing I need by the I'm practicing for a TEDx talk.
Nice.
So what I need
Is the TEDx talk.
is to sound professional and to and get
For her
Okay.
whole arm to
get
show.
hundreds of thousands of likes.
So who could be the most beneficial to help you either in training or getting that TEDx talk? Just let's focus on one person. Who would that be?
That's a good question. I have been training with someone, and it's Jan Fox. She used to be on Channel 9 in Washington, D.C.
Mhm.
And she's an excellent, excellent coach, and she's taught me so much so far.
Okay. All right. So know exactly what you want with numbers and dates. So what are you going to say to law number 1? What is it?
What my talk is about?
No.
Oh, what your goal is.
What your ask is? What do you want out of Jan?
Okay, I want her to tell me how to be the most powerful and deliver the tightest, most effective talk I can give.
Okay. What's missing?
By
The numbers.
Bye.
The date.
October 21st is the talk.
Okay.
So,
Good. So now we know what it is and by the time. Okay. So let's put aside your good relationship with Jan for now. Let's say you kind of know or kind of don't. Okay. Law number 2, right? 15 things you think Jan is going to say to you. So let's say this was an initial ask of her, right? Don't have the time. TED Talks aren't my specialty. Your topic may not even be good for, I'm just making it up, may not be good.
No.
Who else have who else have you asked? I don't have the time frame to do it. Just whatever you think she's going to say, right? And the big one, I have to think about it. No, I don't have the time, go to somebody else. You write it down, but then what will you say to each one?
Mhm.
Okay. It takes time, but the number one reason people don't ask is that they're afraid they'll hear a response they will not be able to respond to. And law number 2 gets rid of that, because now you're prepared. Now listen, if Jan gives you number 16, that becomes number 16. You keep the list and say, you know what? I didn't think about that. Let me get back to you. All right. But these 15 things are very, very important, because that leads you into law number 3, which everybody skips. Deliver with confidence. In their head, they think they are. I'm going to do it. It's right. But you haven't slid from that mental preparation into the physical preparation. Okay. You need both. Both. Okay. Magic words are great, but how'd you deliver it? Does it really look like you want it? Does it look like the world will end unless you get it? Right? Is your tone good? Is it inviting? Is it going to keep a conversation, or are you throwing something at them to decide? See how 2 slides into 3,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
right? Now, law number 4, Laura's personal favorite. Clarify what you think you heard. Now, I want
So important.
because it's a nervous moment a lot of times, anxious moment a lot of times, judgmental moment that we're thinking. So you have to carefully think. So whatever they said, you have to say, Marianne, you would say, Jan, let me get this right. Did I hear you say this, that you don't have the time between now and October 20th? That's her chance to correct you. Okay, you got to be on the same page, because you might pick up a tangent. You don't have the time. She might have thought November is better for me. You hear time, she doesn't want to do it, and you're lost.
Right.
Okay, my favorite example is when someone says, I have to think about it. Now, when they do that, make sure you don't tank, because you're going to hear in your voice no. And was there the word no in any of that response? I have to think about it. Where's the no? But you look like you've gotten a no. So when you get that, I want you to look like you got a yes. Because if they want to say no, they could have said no.
Can you talk about your illustration that you used about that guy who
That's I was just going to say that.
who can donate? Was it 1 million or 1 billion?
It was 5 million.
5 million. Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. That was a good story.
It was a
No,
very-
actually, it was 15 million. It was the biggest one for our campaign. I learned it there. We're doing an ask is 15 million for a major university here in New York, Pace University, and CEO of a major company here internationally. And we asked him for the 15 million. It was a good ask, the president and I. And he said, I have to think about it. And I jumped in and said, take your time. You know, we know it's a big ask. And he just sliced me like a knife and said, I didn't say that, Laura. What I meant is I have to think about how much I'm going to do outright and how much I'll do in my will. And I learned at that moment, you fill in the blank because you didn't reiterate what you think you heard.
That was huge. That was such a good illustration.
Because you were lucky. I mean, because there was another example where the person was like, you didn't get it right. And so I'm not.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. And just one question can keep, you've got it in the ask, you've got to stay on the same page. You know, we start filling in and the person probably very rarely has said a lot, but you've got to find out. So let's say, let's go back to, I have to think about it. Your only job is to get to that little word called it. What is the it? Because if you don't know what Lorna's thinking, you two are not going to agree and no one's going to walk away a winner. Okay. So I say in the book, to the extent you feel comfortable, can you share with me what you're thinking about? And here's the most important part. I'm here to help you. And now suddenly I brought that person in more and we're working it out together. I haven't thrown it on them, put a spotlight, step back and say, your decision, which way is it going to go, right? And more people, I have never had people say, well, it's a private matter. I'm not going to tell you right now. They tell you what it is. And now you work it out. It could be any of the 15 things we worked out with the example of Jan. It'll tell you, like, you know, I'm tired of TED Talks, or I've got too many coaching clients, or, you know, right now I'm going to live in Italy for 3 months. I mean, you don't know what it is. Okay. And when you know where it is, you go into law number 5, plan your next move right here. So many people say, oh, thank you for your time, Jan. That's great. I'll get back to you. Get back to you when? You will lose on average 2.5 weeks to try to get them.
And that happens all the time, whether it's anything from a lunch date, like we should get together for lunch.
Oh, it's so annoying. Oh, it's like, send me dates. No, you send me dates. Okay, I send dates. Oh, no, I'm never free in the afternoon. You will pull your hair out, you know? So I say, okay, like Tuesday, 10 o'clock. Tuesday, 10 o'clock work? No, I don't do mornings. Tuesday, 4 p.m. Well, that works.
That's right. So important. And how you, with all your different rules or laws of asking and so forth, it encourages straight out communication.
100%.
And it's just the little bit of question or the little bit of response is huge in clarifying things. And, you know, I was a therapist for like 30 years, and the
Which is always
don't-
interesting when
you
you go
don't
to
assume you don't assume anything. And so many people would come in. I would see marriage couples, and they would come in the next week and said, I talked to him about what you said last week. And I thought, what was it you think I said last week? You know, because if there was something that wasn't clarified, it stuck in one of their brains, and that was their weapon that they used for the whole week.
Of course. Of
And
course.
so yes, so clarification is huge.
It's important. It's important. Life lessons. Just and it's so simple. I mean, if you look at them, it's not going to take you a month to do all this. I mean, it's just a little preparation. That's part of the 3 rules, you know, be prepared, you know, be present, be personable. You've got to be prepared, number 1.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's right. I like the be personable one because I'm the charmer.
You are indeed. You are indeed.
And I like the being prepared one because I'm the
Because you're the negotiator. So you're a great
The one
team.
that will always say, we're just missing a little thing, you know, or did you notice that?
I always say it's like my eagle eye. My eagle eyes.
True, true. I say to people, don't tell me anything you don't want to know. For some reason, I remember everything. Like I can remember what people ate like 6 months ago. I don't know why, but I do. It's like, no, I don't think you want to order that again. You had that last time. They're like, I did. It's like,
Yeah, you didn't like it. You didn't like it.
Yeah, but it's just so powerful the way you present all this, and because it's laid out in a simple, straightforward manner, and yet still applies to whether you're asking for a donut, or you're asking for a raise, or you're asking for
it goes to everything, Mary. I was just thinking that, you know, how many people get phone scams and you don't quite know, is it or isn't it? And so how about you apply the laws there for the 2 sentences and a question, you know, is this, you know, you've told me that this is Medicare. You've sentence number 1. Number 2, you told me you want my information on my medical history checker 2. Can you verify right now your name, your number, and how you got mine? I mean, it applies to everything.
really good. Yeah. What I usually do too is go to look at the email, that like just take a second and go look at where it came from.
Oh yeah, just hover over their email address, and when you see another one, that's not them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just incredible about how just a little clarification on anything. What do you think the hardest ask most people have with? Is there something that people just struggle with as a general rule?
Yeah, help. They ask for help. Everyone assumes, and you use this word throughout, that they should do it themselves, that they're as skilled as they are, that they should be as knowledgeable as they are. They will look incompetent. They will look needy. The ask for help, and especially in work situations, you know, now that we're still removed, some of us, from the work situation, who asks for help from a coworker? I mean, you're working from home. Who's going to pick up the phone? That's like I feel like 1920s request, right? So I think they ask for help. Even Marianne, you're the therapist. Even to ask a therapist to help is huge. You know, September's Suicide Prevention Month. And so we did a lot of work in that circle about how do you ask a person you know needs help? Do they need help? And which way will it go? Like, how do you do that? Or how could you offer, like, I think you should see Marianne, or on. So I believe that whole area of helping and feeling confident and competent, and even in the health sector, is it's timeless. And I think anyone of any age on the planet, anywhere, struggles with asking for help, myself included. myself included. I always think I should know this. Let me figure it out, especially when it comes to technology. Doesn't it bother? I mean, it could take you a day and a half to figure out why Excel is like revolting on you.
We
Google, you know.
technology. It's like, for the love of God, why is this so hard?
Exactly. But do you ask for help? I
Why
mean,
is it
maybe we go to YouTube, but the ask for help is yeah, I think I've seen that the most in most people.
I love what you said about since it's Suicide Prevention Month, even as we're talking and so forth. And the one question people don't ask, this is just your little free therapy thing. They don't, if they think somebody's going to hurt themselves, they're afraid to ask because they're afraid they're going to plant the idea in their mind.
Yeah, or trigger it, or trigger it.
Yeah, but the whole thing is the best thing to do is, I've noticed, like, you could say two things. I've
Two
noticed.
sentences in a question. You know why? It
No,
keeps the
no.
balance of
Yeah.
75-25, like we talk in the book. You talk 25, they talk 75. Just keep asking those gentle questions, because what's the goal? Work backwards. You want someone to open up the way they can, the way they feel safe, the way that's invited, the way it's really going to produce something, not just, oh, you just want to know and we'll walk away.
Right. But it's important to ask the question, are you thinking of hurting yourself? Because nobody else will ask that.
No.
And I love that you brought that up. So thanks for giving us a little suicide prevention month.
See, it applies everywhere.
Lots of good little tidbits.
Well, and we've been talking recently too about how important questions are.
Yeah.
It's just the answers you get depend on the questions you ask.
Right.
It's just,
I always say one of my favorite mantras is the quality of your life is determined by the quality questions you ask yourself and others.
and it's so important because it really makes you dig and it really makes you give yourself clarity, whether you're asking for, an ask of a question or whatever. It just helps you. Like, what would it look like if you had everything you wanted? What would it look like? Most people don't think about
Or
things
even in
like
your relationship, you're married, like you're with your spouse, because I think that there's a lot of that assumption, like this is what they're thinking. And you don't ask
And that's in the book too. More time, less time. You do more, you do less. And it's like, and let time fill it in again. You're supposed to know that when I have this look on my face, I'm not happy that you haven't done enough housework. I mean, why?
You know me by now.
Very common, very common.
Laura, this has been great. I am excited for this book for you.
Thank
It
you.
came out, was it 3 months
3
ago?
months, yeah, it came out June 13th.
And you're still on your book tour, aren't you?
Yes, we're really cranking it up right now. Well, summer was good. I did a lot of local things because people travel on, but October, November is very heavy travel into different groups in different states, to different audiences. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Yes, it's very excited. I'll be in Huntsville, Alabama soon, October 5th. So I'm telling you.
Okay, well, that's
much
exciting.
different crowd from New York City.
It is. But you know what? The issues are not different.
Well, I'll just add real quick, we were just in Italy, and when you talk, we met with lots of people from different parts of the world. People are people.
They are. They all have the same issues.
All have the same issues. All have the same.
And it doesn't matter their age, doesn't matter how much money they have or don't have, you still have the same challenges.
Yep.
So Laura, you've shared a lot of really good information. A lot of interesting stories were in the book. Can you remind us of the name of the book so that people know exactly the name of the book and your website where they can take the test?
The test, that's great. It's called Hard Asks, ASKS, Made Easy, How to Get Exactly What You Want. Easiest place is either on my website. It's my name, Laura Fredricks, FREDRICKS.com, or Amazon. And my ask, we have to do an ask. You two are gracious to do that. Is if any of your listeners do get the book and they like it, just do a 1 or 2 line review on Amazon. It helps spread the word because other people read the reviews and buy it and share it. And so That's my ask. I have a personal goal to get quite a few reviews, so
Count on
Well,
us.
good luck with that because I sent mine in, so.
thank you.
Mine in today. I'll get mine in tonight.
I'll be looking for it. I'll be looking for
Laura,
it.
thank you for joining us, and we will put your website and the name of the book on on our thing, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you both. It's been great to get to know you.
Very profitable book.
We can't wait. We'll just keep watching you, see where you are.
Okay, all right. I might be in your hometown soon.
Oh, let us know.
I will.
All right. Thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye.